Hare Krishna! Welcome back to the series Nimai's Adventure. We are reading chapter 16, Jagannath Mishra Stops Nimai's Education. Mali awoke to the sound of birds chirping and the cheerful chatter of people bathing in the river Ganga. The sun was shining and the sky was a beautiful bright blue. The little mouse instantly felt awake and excited to see what the day would bring him. Mali packed up his night gear and belongings and headed down the tree. He plucked a small mango and offered it in his mind to Lord Krishna, like Braja the bird had taught him before munching on the juicy fruit. On the path leading into the village, Mali met a white goat with golden bell who was very busy chewing from a pile of grass. The goat looked up as Mali strolled by and called to Mali to come in his direction. "Hari bol there, little mouse. My name is Giri the goat. I have seen you talking to some of my friends around the village about Nimai. I watched Nimai and his brother grew up and loved every moment of it. Would you like to hear a story about them? It's not quite like other pastimes, but any pastime about Nimai is beautiful." "Yes, of course, please tell me. Any pastime with Nimai is wonderful to hear." Giri then began telling Mali the pastime of why Jagannath Mishra stopped Nimai's education. Before he started, he mentioned, "Be warned, little Mali, this is a very sad story. It was an unfortunate day in Navadvipa. Our beloved Vishwaroop, Nimai's elder brother, had left home to take sannyasa and become a more serious devotee of Krishna. Everyone in Nadia loved Vishwaroop so much that they cried in separation from him when he left. The children cried, the adults cried, and even the animal residents like the cows cried in sadness. Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra in particular were completely heartbroken. Constantly holding and embracing Nimai, they cried in anguish and lamented. Even though Nimai was small, he understood that his brother left to take sannyasa and wasn't coming back home to him and his parents. It broke Nimai's heart to see his parents in such a state. From then on, Nimai tried his best to cheer up his parents in his big brother's absence, staying with them as often as he could. Giri carried on speaking, tears welling in his eyes. Nimai became less naughty and more focused on his studies. He was no longer mischievous and prankster who pestered the residents of Navadvipa. Nimai spent so much time studying his books that he became an excellent student, better than any other child in Nadia. Everyone praised Nimai's intelligence and told Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata how they were so lucky to have such an intelligent child that loved learning. Nimai became an expert in grammar, poetry, writing, debates, speech, and much more. Everything seemed to come naturally to him. His intelligence was uncomparable. Sometimes he would challenge older students and defeat them in complicated debates. Sometimes he would compose the most beautiful poems that only the smartest could understand. One day, Sachimata was working around the house when she noticed her husband watching Nimai study with a very serious expression on his face. Going over to him, Sachimata sweetly asked her husband what was on his mind and why he was looking so serious. After a moment of silence, Jagannath Mishra quietly spoke so that Nimai would not hear. "My dear wife, our son Nimai is studying the Vedas very diligently and he has become very strict with his studies." Sachimata replied, "Yes, his teachers are all so pleased with the amazing progress Nimai has made in such a short time. The whole village is talking about our Nimai. It's so wonderful, is it not? Do you not think so?" she asked, confused as to why her husband was still so grave. Letting out a long sigh, Jagannath Mishra said, "Of course, it's wonderful, but." He paused as he looked up again at his son with moistened eyes. His passion for studying is unwavering and so strict, just like older brother Vishwarupa's. Our Vishwarupa left home because he understood the meaning of the Vedas. The Vedas state how one must not be too attached to anything in this material world and that all relationships in this material world are temporary. After understanding this and more, Vishwarupa left us. Jagannath Mishra's voice choked up. He turned to his wife and grabbed her hands. What if a Nimai does the same? What if he decides to take sannyasa too and leave us? I don't think I could bear it. We should immediately stop his education, my dear wife. He'll let him be a child and just play around like he used to. Placing his hand on Giri's leg, Mali asked in shock, "What happened next?" In great fear of losing Nimai, Giri continued. Both Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra decided to stop Nimai's education. They decided it was the best thing to do. They could not bear to lose another child. At the end of the story, Mali felt tears well up in his eyes. Thinking of Vishwarup leaving Nadia hurt his heart, even though he had never actually seen him. Although it was extreme decision, Mali could understand why Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata decided to stop Nimai's education. Thank you for telling me the story, Giri. Even though it was sad, it was very captivating to hear. It has given me a dear appreciation of Nimai and his family. Waving goodbye to Giri the goat, Mali wandered back onto the path, thinking deeply about what Giri had just told him. By hearing about Nimai and Vishwarup, Mali already felt so attached to them. He could not imagine how the residents of Navadvipa felt when Vishwarupa left them.
Join us tomorrow to see what Mali the Mouse gets up to.